The reality for so many married couples late in life is that when one of them passes, the other is left with a loss of income, but still having to sustain the same bills that they had while they were both alive. This is a topic I am so fired up about because for some reason, recently, I've had way too many calls where someone reaches out to me and tells me their spouse just died. And now they are faced not only with grieving the loss of their life partner, but are now stuck with the reality that they're facing an immediate loss of income and can't afford to stay in the home that they shared with their now deceased spouse. Most recently, I spoke with a man last week whose wife just passed last month. He's now having to deal with all of this on top of him losing his wife of 57 years. And then to make matters worse, most of these folks, including the man I spoke to last week, have been doing traditional cash out refinances over and over again on their property and now don't even qualify for a reverse mortgage because they don't have enough equity in the home. I talk about this in our reverse mortgage versus cash out refinance video, and I'd greatly encourage you to go and watch that video after this one. Now, I don't mean to be aggressive about this, but it's just so incredibly frustrating to not be able to help someone, especially in that situation. And the reality is that many people just don't even consider a reverse mortgage as an option because of all of the misconceptions about this loan being spread by uninformed people who don't know what they're talking about. And that's why I hope this video reaches as many people as possible so that you can at least consider a reverse mortgage before it gets to that point and get the actual facts for yourself. Because it is the absolute worst case scenario when you are considering a reverse mortgage after the fact in desperation. At the same time, you're going through the worst moments life has to offer. So if you are at all concerned about yours or your spouse's financial well-being after one of you pass away, then please watch this video because a reverse mortgage is a great way to help ensure that you or they are financially sound after one of you pass. Hi there, folks. This is Taryn Proctor, president of Retirement Home Equity Advisors. And again, this is a topic that I do get a bit overzealous about. And that's just because not only have I personally witnessed the devastation that comes from the loss of income after the death of a spouse, but I just wholeheartedly feel the pain and disappointment when people reach out to me during the most difficult time of their life only for me to have to tell them that I can't help in many cases. And although this is certainly not something that any of us want to prepare for, it really is something that needs to be addressed. And that's why we're going to discuss how a reverse mortgage can help protect you or your spouse from financial difficulty after you or they pass away. And my main message that I want you to take away from this video is not that I think you should do a reverse mortgage. It is that this is simply an option to be considered and should be considered. But whether you decide this particular option is the best fit or not, I truly hope that you have a plan in place for this situation. So the first thing I'd like to point out is that a reverse mortgage can be structured and managed in many different ways. And I think that's one of the problems that many people have with it is they think that a reverse mortgage only works one way. And that just is not the case. It is the least one-size-fits-all mortgage product out there. What I mean by that is you may use a reverse mortgage a completely different way than Joe down the street uses his. You and Joe could have taken a reverse mortgage out on the same day, started out with the same loan amount, the same interest rate, same home value. You may be the same age, but because of how you structured the loan and managed it over time, 10 years down the road, you could owe $50,000 less than Joe. My point here being is you have a lot of control over how your reverse mortgage progresses over time. There are many different ways in which we can structure the loan for you and in which you can use it, some of which are more beneficial to certain goals than others. So if your reverse mortgage is solely in preparation for a future financial event, we would want to and can structure that differently than someone who may need money right now in the present. Now, some of the features of a reverse mortgage that can help with the situation we're discussing is number one, eliminating your current monthly mortgage payment. You are not required to make principal and interest payments on a reverse mortgage, although you can choose to make payments if you'd like. Keep in mind, you would still be responsible for paying your property taxes, homeowners insurance, HOA dues, or any other property charges that you may have. Now, this feature alone may accomplish what you need. For instance, would you or your spouse be comfortable financially if you or they didn't have to make a mortgage payment any longer after one of you passed? At this point, a common question I get is, well, Taryn, if I'm doing this in preparation for the future and I don't have a need to eliminate my mortgage payment now, what should I do? And the reason people ask this is because if you choose to not make a payment towards the reverse mortgage, the inevitable result is that the interest that you otherwise pay every month on a regular mortgage, that just gets added to the loan balance over time on the reverse mortgage. Therefore, you have an increasing loan balance over time if you choose not to make payments. So the answer to that question then is two things. Either take the money you're saving every month from a lack of payment and save it or put it somewhere that may potentially make you more of it. Or second, you can just decide to continue making payments until you or your spouse choose to stop making payments. Now, if you decide to not make payments and put that money elsewhere, I wouldn't be the person to advise on that. But what I can advise on is that there are many really amazing benefits to making payments towards your reverse mortgage in preparation for the future. First, if you choose to make payments, depending on how much you choose to pay, you may either keep your loan balance from increasing by making interest only payments, or you may choose to pay more than that and actually continue paying down the principal balance of the loan. And next, if we structure your reverse mortgage with what's called a line of credit, then dollar for dollar, what you pay towards the reverse mortgage would also go into your line of credit, which you or your spouse would be able to then pull any money back out of that line of credit that you had ever paid into it at any time in the future. Not only would your chosen payment towards your reverse mortgage go into the line of credit, the money in the line of credit also has a growth factor attached to it. This means that any money in there will grow at the same rate that your principal balance is charged for interest and mortgage insurance. So not only would you be paying towards the loan, but you'd also be paying into a growing line of credit that you or your spouse could withdraw from for any financial event in the future if need be. Lastly, this line of credit is guaranteed to you through the government backing. Therefore, it cannot be canceled, frozen, or reduced as long as your loan is in good standing. This is also an incredible hedge against home depreciation in the future because that line of credit and the growth are guaranteed to you independent of the home's value. Now, you may not want to continue making payments, and in that case, you may be able to have your cake and eat it too. With a reverse mortgage, depending on how much you qualify for, you may be able to just initially structure the reverse with a line of credit that you or your spouse will have access to and eliminate your required monthly payments as well. Maybe you decide to stop making payments so you both can enjoy retirement a bit better together and leave the line of credit alone to grow for you or your spouse's future use. Or maybe you decide to reduce your payment and make those payments a bit more manageable, still accomplishing a more enjoyable retirement for you and your spouse while still growing that line of credit for the future and still having the added benefit of either spouse being able to halt payments at any time in the future when needed. So you see, there are many different ways this loan can be structured to suit your needs. Yet still, I understand there may be another option out there that may accomplish your goals a bit better. But for many, once they adequately learn the facts about this loan and how it works, they do decide it is the best option for them. Again, all I argue is that it is an option that needs to be considered because too many go without even looking into it because of myths or misconceptions they have heard of in the past. And this prevents many from learning that it actually may be the best option for many things, but especially when it comes to preparing for future financial distress. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you found this video helpful. And if so, definitely hit those like and subscribe buttons below so you don't ever miss any valuable information about reverse mortgages. And lastly, if you or someone you know has any questions about a reverse mortgage, give us a call anytime. We're always here to answer any questions you may have and explore your reverse mortgage options with you. We're currently licensed and able to help folks in Arizona, California, and Colorado. You can reach us at 888-982-0475. We'll see you next time.